Hi, good evening. Steve Adler. Got a minute? All right, it's Friday night. We won't be that long, but we do want to go over some important information. We're going to begin with the numbers, which are encouraging. Let's pull up our handy first dashboard. New admissions tonight, 47. You can see how that graphs out in the middle. The 7-day running average is 57.3. So we have come in under the 7-day average as we did last night, and as we're doing now. It's a good sign. You can see how it's kind of flattening out and even heading downward. Number of new cases off to the right, 238. 7-day running average, 280. You know, that number is getting lower, and at some point you start to believe that number might actually be a valid indication of having fewer cases in the city. Still not out of the woods. We'll talk about that in a second. The mint-colored numbers in the middle, 7-day running average for hospitalizations is 457 tonight in our hospitals. There are fewer people than that. It's 423. So we're headed in the right direction now, where the numbers in our hospital, less than our 7-day running average. In ICU, 7-day running average, you can see, is 154. The numbers actually in our ICUs tonight, 148. Again, number that's pointed in the right direction, lower than the 7-day running average. On ventilators, which is going to be the last thing to really react to what we're doing, because it's kind of the indicator off to the side, last one, except for people pass away. 108, 7-day running average. We have 102 people actually on ventilators tonight. That center graph, though, is what we need to focus on. We're up in kind of the reddish area. It's coming back down. What those numbers indicate to us is that the virus load in our city perhaps going down as well. And that's a real important thing if we're going to be able to keep the economy open, if we're going to be able to open up schools and let more students go. We need the overall virus load in the city to come down, and we need it to come down substantially below where it is right now in that orange area to where we can feel comfortable. Let's go ahead and look at the second chart. This is the second dashboard, also on the City of Austin page. Total number of cases up with that last 238 up to 19,177. The number of people that have passed away in the city, 241. That is an increase of 12 on top of where we were yesterday. 12 people have passed away. You know, when we had that incline and while we were pushing lots more cases, we were up to like 600, 700 nightly cases. We get the cases, then a few weeks later, that surge moves its way to hospital admissions from cases, and then it moves to ICU units, and that's when we got really scared about ICU units. It pushes up then later the number of people on vents. And then that same surge, as it works its way through the system, eventually gets to where people are passing away. The number in Texas is really high, representing what was happening 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks ago. And we're looking at that number now. As we reduce the number of cases and the number of admissions to hospitals, number of people on ventilators, we're going to see that number of increasing the rate of increase of people that are passing away start to go down as well. But it is the trailing indicator. So even while we're doing really good outside, that number was already baked in and set into motion. Let's look at the next chart. It's a chart from Dr. Escott. It's the one that visually lets us see our most important indicator, hospitalizations. You'll recall that the blue line that you see tracks the daily number of new hospital admissions, and the yellow line is the 7-day running average. That's kind of like that middle exhibit with the colors, but that's kind of like a cartoon. This is the real one. Okay, a couple quick announcements. 1 week left. The pandemic electronic benefit transfer, PEBT, The deadline is Thursday of next week, the 30th. This is for people that are eligible for free or reduced price lunches during the school year, can sign up and get meals now while school is not in session. There are a lot more people that are eligible for this that have signed up to take it. And we know it would be great to have these wonderful meals. If you haven't signed up and you're eligible, please do. If you know people that might be that are not signed up, please make sure that they know about it. We're going to continue to watch the numbers that you just saw in San Antonio. They think that they saw a spike related to July 4th. I'm hoping that they don't. I'm hoping that we don't. We would start seeing numbers from July 4th, probably beginning of next week, into the middle of next week. We're doing so good right now as a community. I just hope we don't have that. If we get that kind of stuff while we're still at the levels we're at, middle to high end of the orange range, it could really set us back. Again, we need to maintain the discipline, not because at this point we're in risk of overrunning our ICUs, but we need to lower the overall virus load in our community if we want people to be able to really open businesses, go to businesses, and be able to sustain schools opening. The U.S. Coronavirus cases approached 4 million yesterday. In the United States, we are averaging 2,600 new virus cases every hour. And that's the highest rate in the world right now for a country. Researchers at Georgia Tech have a new data tool to gauge your risk when you go into a crowd of running into somebody who has the virus. It's made and based just on your county's numbers, and you can go look at it, your county and the size of the crowd. Right now in Travis County, you go to a group of 50 people, the chances that somebody in that group of 50 people has the virus is like 99%. That's the kind of infectivity level that we have in our community right now. So even though while we're flattening the curve, the virus is just all around us. I get asked a lot of questions. I'm going to answer one here tonight. The question is, what about people that don't have homes living in our city? Are they experiencing a spike? And the answer is no. In fact, Austin has had fewer than 100 people that are experiencing homelessness, fewer than 100 people without homes test positive. The caveat for that is when we test people, we don't ask them for their address or for their housing status. So it's entirely possible that some people that have gotten testing are among the community that don't have homes. We just wouldn't know. But for those people that we know, less than 100. We have been doing testing at shelters, at the state-sanctioned camp, and other places. People ask, why is it that we haven't had more of an outbreak or an impact? Because a lot of those people are really susceptible. The answer to that is we've had a lot of people working on it with the city, with Austin Public Health, with our partners, Community Care and Dell Medical School, all really focused on making sure as best we can that we did not have a spike in that population, and it's worked. We stood up 4 protective lodges in the first 2 months of the pandemic, and that made a huge difference. The downtown community court staffs those protective lodges. We call them pro lodges. Integral Care and Front Steps provided services to the folks in the pro lodges. We've managed to get 310 people off the streets and into a place in an environment where they are safer. One of the very first clusters that we had in our city actually was down at Salvation Army. And it was one of the first for us. So it became kind of our drill where we learned how to respond. And we did. I'll tell you that cluster scared me because I thought, since I was the first, that this is going to be our most susceptible population. Turns out it was not, or has not been so far. There's still a lot more for us to do. We have to take those folks that are in those pro lodges, help transition them to permanent supportive housing, and those plans, those work plans to have a good housing exit for the folks that are in those pro lodges is the activity that's happening right now. And we're trying to use those investments that we get for the pandemic to leverage into permanent capacity in our system, so it'll still be with us as we exit the virus. If you're interested in things dealing with people in our community that are without homes, a new study just came out, investing for results. The site for this, website for this, we're going to post on the website so that you can see it. It is the next step in the evolution in our city to actually ending homelessness in our city. This represents the work that takes the kind of the overall master plan that we earlier have from ECHO that we adopted, and it's starting now to make it more task oriented so that we can actually start implementing that plan. That report that you just saw brought together all of the stakeholders in the city, business community, the ECHOs, the Caritas, the Front Steps, the service providers, the City of Austin, governmental entities, putting together the public-private partnerships that are going to be necessary to be able to executing a plan. Nuria Rivera Vandermeide, who's the deputy city attorney, said that strengthening the health of our growing city and supporting individuals living with homelessness requires teamwork and continuous innovation, and that's what that report drives. Assistant City Manager Chris Shorter said the group is working diligently to leverage public and private investments to address homelessness in Austin, helping our neighbors in crisis when all Austinites have the tools like a home to regain health and stability, physical and mental health care, job opportunities to reach our full potential. Our city is stronger. Everybody thrives. ECHO taking the lead and putting together that P3 effort, co-chaired by Matt Molika with ECHO. I'm really excited that we're moving forward, and it's going to become more and more tangible, more and more real, so that we can get folks without homes to have homes so they can stabilize their lives. The last piece of news I would let you know is that today I extended my order providing eviction protection. I extended it until September 30th, recognizing we still have a lot of people in our community that don't have jobs, are having tough going from week to week to be able to buy food. We want to make sure that no one loses their homes. Landlords need help also making mortgage payments. You should be applying to some of the business programs that we have in our city. Like other businesses, you can apply, and I know that they're making special arrangements now for kind of some of the small mom and pop landlords that might be having difficulty because they have tenants that are paying. But there's $16 million being put toward a rent program to help folks pay rent, which when they pay the rent, it doesn't accrue against them. And also the landlords get that money, so they have that income as well. All right, I want to conclude tonight talking about our mailbag. They say that knowledge is power and children are the future. Tonight we have proof that both of those things are true. I got an email from a mom named Megan. She has a 6-year-old, Liam, who spends a lot of his time playing Lego. He also watches Got a Minute with his mom. So Liam, if you're watching, thanks for doing that. Thanks for watching. And I love the use that you put to Lego. Watching our risk charts and our different color charts, here is Liam, and you can see with his Lego set, he made a COVID tracker, which I just love. You know, you can turn this dial from white, from no cases, to green for some cases. Red, he says, are for lots of cases, and black is for most everybody has it. I look forward to the day, Liam, when you can just leave that on white because we don't have any cases. What we're trying to do right now is something that cities have not been successful in doing so far, which is to maintain the diligence of wearing masks and social distancing, not when we're trying to avoid overrunning our ICUs, but when we're trying to make it so we can sustain the opening of schools and the opening of businesses. We keep our masks on, we can start driving that number down. Let's get out of orange, let's get into yellow, let's get out of yellow and get into blue. If we could do that, then the quality of our lives and what we're able to do will be changing right away. And with that, I say good night. You all have an absolutely wonderful weekend. Avoid large groups, wear your masks, take care, be safe.